Good afternoon. My name is Kateryna Odarchenko, and we, together with SSE Group and Institute for Democracy and Development, continue to analyze different sociological pools and interesting data about Ukraine and about Ukraine situation in Ukraine. So today I find for you interesting research, and I know that it's not so much data for now, not so many interesting data in my articles also, because as you see, also financing to different research became much less than last year, but still I can find some interesting for you, and you can find also this information on our work and articles for Wilson Center, Atlantic Council, and other top American think tanks. Also, you always can find this research on our website, Nonprofit Institute for Democracy and Development, and Corporate Social Responsibility Projects of SSE companies, consulting company who work with communication issues. So today we will analyze rating group work, which was also supported by Foundation for Ukraine and Transatlantic Dialogue Center. So its recommendation for national strategy of reintegration of Kharkiv and Kherson region. And if you don't know where is Kharkiv and Kherson, I will show to you also map to see where is it's located. I'm originally from Kherson region. So you see that Kherson region is southern Ukraine, and Kharkiv region it's eastern Ukraine. So more on the left side. Yeah, so here you see also situation in Kherson region with ceasefire there, and also you can see other maps of now fights of Ukraine in Ukraine. So so here this report show that this regions was under occupation, and it was 1,200 respondents. So in every region it was 600 people, and method it's CAT method, computer assist telephone interviewing. So which with soft random digital dialing. So it's about sociological method, which is pretty accurate, and we can see main trends. So now, first of all, what we can analyze, how people understand current situation. So they understand current situation as surviving. So the main word, it's what surviving. Yeah, and here you can see also some quotes that, for example, lady from 63 years old from a Kharkiv region, which is eastern Ukraine, said, I can't say that our community work yeah, so I said I want to say, I will translate it. I want to say that our community work, and they work pretty fast, and a lot of stuff was done. A lot of good was done for the people in the region. And here also quote from a person who in local power in Kherson region. He said that after the occupation, it was huge work about infrastructure and about restarting work of social and medical infrastructure. So generally, if you take 10 points, like in Kharkiv region, people understand that 7 points. It's like from 10, it's good work of restarting of work, and 5 and 5 in Kherson region. So, and from civil society, sociological researchers said that they have more issues and more questions to power. So let's see what experts said that regions need. So in Kharkiv region, they said that it's need demining, that it's need more effective work with resources, that it's need renewing of energetical and social infrastructure, and more medical supplies, even for small villages and cities, and also, of course, working with roads. So in Kherson region, which is southern Ukraine, it's my native region, it's also infrastructure for people who live in the region. So they need like renewing of infrastructure, of course, work from entrepreneurs and business, and like so workplace. Also renewing of social infrastructure, and also it's very important that it's need like people who will work, so human resources, and also it's like unity of community, which was under occupation. So a lot of people said about like not enough human resources, and we see this from comment from person, male person, 44 years old, from Kherson region. So here you can see what people said, that it's need more work. So people said that it's more need work like workplaces, also housing, medicine, transportation, social security payments and other government payments, humanitarian help, education, and much less other issues like culture. So I will not explain to you all report, because maybe it will be too long video, but it's important to understand trends on all these territories, and also it's examples of damages in Kharkiv. Here is Kharkiv, here is also Kharkiv region. And here it's also example from Kherson city. It was big mall. Also example from village Komishany in Kherson region, and here also source like from official sources in Ukraine. Yeah, so as we see also that the most bad situation in village communities. I explained to you before that even before in village communities, it was a lot of issues with workplaces and with medical assistance and with poverty levels. So now it's so this crisis became much more deeper than it was originally. So also people generally understand that work of like emergency services and first responders was pretty good. And you can see also what people understand that services work on now. So medical assistance, like 60%, a little more said that work like from 4 till 5, from 5, so pretty good. Demining also like more than 50%, working with low-income families like less, so less than 40%, the same with infrastructure, with psychological help. And people said that horrible work with shelters in Kharkiv region, and pretty the same numbers in Kherson region. So shelters, psychological help, and infrastructure work still need work, on opinion of people who live in Kharkiv and Kherson region, which is eastern Ukraine, which was occupied, and southern Ukraine, which was occupied, but now also ceasefire is still in these regions. Now in Kherson, and even in Kherson and Kharkiv towns, cities and towns. Kharkiv is a city and Kherson it's a town. One more time, people need more shelters. Here you see in Kherson and Kharkiv region, people need more shelters and more places for socialization of kids. It's very important, and I have several videos about socialization of kids. So one more time, people understand transport infrastructure as like need more work. Humanitarian situation. So Humanitarian situation. So here we see that researchers said that more than 8.5 million people who the most vulnerable and who need now humanitarian help, more than 8 million people. So it's very, very important. And here they also explain hard work with coordination of this humanitarian help because it's still ceasefire there. So they said that now humanitarian help go to more than 4 million people, 4,000, which is 52%. And it's United Nations data, so it's not their data, they take from United Nations official data. And this humanitarian help go to Kharkiv, Mykolaiv, Dnipro, Sumska, Donetska, Zaporizhzhia, Odessa, and Khersonska region. And here it's the numbers, how many humanitarian help go through hundreds, thousands. Yeah, so here like 100,000, you understand, right? So, and the most people who need is people who live 30, 50 kilometers from the border. So it's like 15, 30 miles from the border. So one more time, who like most need this help? It's parents who in a maternity leave, people who low income families. 85% of people said that they haven't money for food. And also internally dispersed person, 77%, people with kids, 69, 74%, and people who live in villages, 67% in Kharkiv region and 65, 75% in Kherson region. So as you see, situation with humanitarian help with poverty, it's really bad. And still these people need like new workplaces and housing, renewing and medical services. So here you can see also how many people who now in maternity leave, 49% need humanitarian help. And it's example how Red Cross gives us humanitarian help in near Kharkiv region. So one more time, who need more humanitarian help? So as you see, it's mostly people in villages, for example, here for Kharkiv region, and but still a lot, like 46% also in Kharkiv directly. And as you see, people from all age groups need humanitarian help. Like as you see, like blue, it's people who need or more likely need, and red, it's people who don't need or more likely don't need on their own opinion, because it's sociological research. About medical support. So now 1,686 medical service centers and facilities was damaged by war, and 185 completely destroyed by this war. So also you see numbers of damaged objects in Kharkiv region, Donetsk region, and Kherson region, which is really very tough situation. And in Ukraine, they have some mobile clinics and people and medical services and model points of emergency help. And it's information from Save Children organization. So as you see, it's very hard also to give like mining and demining services where doctors work. So, and about mining education of what is like mining defense, yeah, so knowledge about mines for kids. People said that this education in schools pretty good, like education where it's some potential potential danger to find mines. And one more time, I'm do some video, and it's very crucial situation. It's education for kids. So UNICEF also do a lot of research about online education for kids. And one more time, we understand that sometimes not online but in person education, it can be pretty dangerous. And you remember like point from first part of report that it's not enough shelters. And here you see example of bombing of school in 2022 from Kharkiv region. So in every villages in this region, Kherson and Kharkiv region, mostly we see that even in every village, some damages on educational and infrastructure. One more time, in some region, it's test and pilot projects for like underground schools, and it was cost of on one situation 87 million hryvnias, and on other situations this project cost almost 100 million hryvnias. If you want to compare it to dollar, you can. So 1 hryvnia, it's $1 is 42 hryvnia for now. So as you see, it's also a lot of like money for like these new buildings. And so mostly 90% of kids have only online education through notebook and tablets, 82%, 84%, and mostly of them have access to good internet. People want online or hybrid education, but still you can understand that it's an issue when kids have only online education, and when 80% of kids can online education. You can compare that the same kids was in COVID time at school, you know, and it also was online education. So it's big question about the quality of this education, which needs additional research. So also administrative services, which run by Center of Administrative Services, people said that it's like generally not bad, it's not enough people, one more time, who work in these services. And from like also my experience, because we organize a lot of elections in Ukraine, and of course I'm from this region, it's an issue to take transportation to nearest place of administrative services, and it's also pretty expensive. So the next part of this report, it's rebuilding of housing, and you can also read my material for SEPA about that. Now we see that directly damages of housing, it's 55 billions of 55 billions. Also we see that more than 167,000 objects of like housing was damaged. So it's like huge numbers which need directly different budgets to rebuild it. Of course, the most needed housing of the occupied territory, where people like came back or need this housing more in, and you see these numbers of where respondents said that housing was damages. One more time, that people said that some of housing was partly or fully rebuilt. So it's around 50%. So rebuilt, it's not, for example, like Windows was changed, like, and 20% said that no, it wasn't rebuilt, and they use electronical service Yavidnovlenia. They work with local governments and volunteers, or people rebuild by their own money. It's very important. So like they also sometimes rebuild for their own money. And one more time, so not to be an illusion, right? So people who do rebuilding for their own money, it's in Kharkiv 62%, and in Kherson it's 56%. So it's people who use their own money to rebuild their housing, own money, not government money, not American money, own money. Government money, it's 27% and 28%, and money of charity foundation 8 and 16%, international organization money 15 and 11%, volunteer money 5 and 6%, and less money from business. So one more time about rebuilding, people mostly rebuild for now, mostly directly, majority from their own money, and it's it's an issue because people still live in poverty, as you see from a previous part of this research. And here also some explanation how відновлення work and from like government money for rebuilding, but I think it will be like maybe some new term for my article. And you can see also that 66% to 60% don't apply online for these compensations. So maybe it's give understanding that people don't understand this process, or they said that they haven't not enough documents. They said like small damages, or they said that they have low chances to get this money. One more time, it's their answers and answers from respondents of this research, which is very interesting to analyze because like digitalization, it's pretty new tool for Ukraine, and we must also analyze, is it work or it's maybe like some not work. Here also some issues how people do this rebuilding. Some people conserve the damaged housing. So I think it will be too much time to analyze all these details. Also, some respondents said that like their community, like local community, haven't budget money for rebuilding, and also people said from Kharkiv, respondents said that corruption exists in their region on their points of view, and of course it's instability of like security situation and active war there. So you can see also some damages from Kherson from the left side and Kharkiv from the right side. So so main people said that Ukraine needs like rebuilding, so build back better as a model, and it's also people from like Chukuyev, Kharkiv region also give that they want to build better in future. And here you see some examples how people organize this process on the photo. So people said that they have a lot of help, humanitarian aid from United Nations. Here, people said that they get help from local council in Kharkiv region, and also people said that they need to pay a lot of attention to like fighting with disinformation campaign. About level of trust, so to heads of regional war administration, Kharkiv region, 63% people like trust. On Kherson, only 37% of people give trust to regional war administration, and 44% not trust to the head of regional administration, and 15% don't know about head of regional war administration, which is a very, very interesting number if connect with some applications that people, talk about corruption. So one more time, local head of towns and villages, mostly 63% and 55% in Kharkiv and Kherson trust, and pretty the same numbers with local head of city council. For trust to president in Kherson region 63, in Kharkiv region 60. And in towns, more people trust to president than in villages. So generally people cooperate with local power, and as you see, trust more to local power. So it's not like regional war administration, it's people who was elect as officials to local council, city council, regional council. So you understand it's like municipal power. So it's also very interesting trend, and it's maybe show to us dynamic of trust to like military people and to people from local power. So in this situation, people want to hear more from like media which work on regional news and local news, and it's very important. It's very important to them. Here also some examples how Zelensky meet in Kharkiv and in Kherson region from their official website. So also people very positive looks on international help and international humanitarian help, and of course also they think that very important to support military people and to support our Ukrainian warriors. Also they want to see social entrepreneurs, and main issue which people now don't have, it's medicine and medical equipment, it's humanitarian help, it's demining, it's also culture, and it's also events for kids, and it's renewing of infrastructure and for kids and inclusive events. It's also some advices from researchers for new partners. It's active communicate, it's to communicate very free and fair. It's also give to people understanding of moving forward and potential, and it's also be ready to adopt. It's also some information about collaborationism. So like when some people work with occupation government, it was more than 100,000, 5,600 people who have like court decision about collaborationism. So about that they work with occupation government. And it's very important to people to know about, this like crimes, and it's they said that like it's not enough justice in this situation. So it's also pretty interesting understanding of feeling that this justice must be enough. So people said that some in war crimes issues like secret services, anti-corruption services, special Attorney General, sometimes on their point of view from person in Kherson region, copy their work, but they not so effective. One more time, it's one position of respondent. And here you see like it's do you trust to like local to police, to Attorney General office. So people mostly trust than not trust. So trust, it's green color here. Also here a lot of questions about like new Ukrainization, and about also pro-Ukrainian position. So of course it's obvious that pro-Ukrainian position became much higher, and much higher interest to Ukrainian culture and Ukrainian language. So I think it's pretty obvious numbers, and we see also that in other research. So also that people use Ukrainian and still Ukrainian and Russian at home. People mostly said that if they will have interview with about like their position, they also will use Ukrainian language. I think that it's basically most interesting data about Kherson and Kharkiv region. And it's also very interesting that people work together with their neighbors, with their people in their community, and with people from like a neighborhood community. So it's also show with whom people want to cooperate, right? And that people also want to have very reliable information sources, because they said that it's still on the occupied territory a lot of disinformation. So it's also important, and people want to see more support of Ukrainian army. Also they want to see more programs for investors, agriculture support and business support, because people need new workplaces. So it's also very understandable their needness of medical services. So if this information was useful for you, please contact us and support work of Institute for Democracy and Development. And take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.